Man, so Bitcoin is up 1.5% at the time recording, allowing FANTOM to rise by almost 4% today as this critical CPI reading came out showing that the market is at record inflation. But yeah, the market is still rallying. What is going on? We're going to look at this and we're going to identify whether this is just a cooling off before a bigger move to the downside. And we also have to discuss whether FANTOM is going to rebrand. Yes, that is a hot topic right now. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to share with you all the key levels in the charts and what to watch out for. So you're not going to want to miss a single bit. As always, if you like my perspective, consider checking out our links below. Ijaz.uk/member will allow you to become a member of our core member live streams. That's 3 times weekly live streams, which allow you to ask me questions on your favorite coins. We can do technical analysis, we can do tokenomics, we can talk about the wider macroeconomic economy, and I can share with you what I'm doing in the markets, plus a whole lot more. Let's get straight into the charts, guys, because Bitcoin, let's just walk through what Bitcoin just did over the last kind of 12 to 24 hours. So you can see here yesterday, we were just falling. We were in complete free fall all of yesterday, leading up to about my time midnight. And you can see there at about that time, we kind of hit our low, which was at 39,200. Now, all of this sell-off was in lead up to the CPI reading we were receiving this morning. This is typical behavior. We saw the wider stock market, the S&P, the Nasdaq fall to the downside, and we saw Bitcoin pick up a little bit of support around 39,200. We then saw leading up during the day today, before the CPI reading, that the market started to pick up. Okay, so we started to see the market pick up as the Asian markets were trading, and we saw us then suddenly have the CPI reading, which is this hourly candlestick here. And the CPI reading, despite record inflation, allowed the markets to move to the side. Now, CPI came in at 8.5% versus an estimate of 8.4%. This is crazy. This is an absolute record. If I show you here on the chart, you can see this is inflation, and that's your 8.5 reading up there. A pickup from the 7.9 the month before, and you can see like it doesn't seem like it's inflecting to the downside. So why is the market getting excited about this? Why are the market feeling positive about this at being our inflation chart? Well, we have to look into the details, and in the details we find out a few things. If you look at core inflation, it sat at 6.5%, which is in line with expectations. And then if you looked at the month-on-month readings, you saw that core inflation grew month on month at 0.3%. Okay, the expectation for that was 0.5%. This is a drastic difference. I know it sounds really small, but if you are to grow at a 0.5% inflation rate every month for 12 months, that results in a year-on-year inflation of 6%. If you grow 0.3% month on month for 12 months, your inflation rate is only 3.6%. So this is a big difference, and this got the market feeling really happy that perhaps inflation has started to become a little bit transitory. So yes, Jerome Powell spoke about inflation being transitory. Are we seeing that? Because this is not to do with interest rate. Because the interest rate change came in midway through the month, and we know there's a lag before that takes effect on consumers' pockets and slows demand. So this is not inflation-led. This is led through the natural economy and the transitory message and rhetoric we've been hearing for many, many months now. So the market felt really positive by this. We saw some of the markets start to move slightly to the upside. But since the reading, we've started to cool back down again. And you've seen this pattern in all of our favorite indices, because the reality of it, when you sober up, inflation is still high. So if I show you here what we're seeing on something like the S&P, big move to the upside when the reading came through, and then a real calling off to the downside thereafter. Same with QQQ, and this is the exact same pattern we're seeing on Bitcoin. So anybody who still wants to argue that we're not correlated to the equity markets, I mean, the evidence is in the charts, right? We're seeing the same pattern here unfold. Now, Bitcoin is trying to pick up some support here from 40,000. It's coming to test the 40,000 level. Now, the question we need to ask ourselves, and this can be the same question we're going to ask on the FANTOM chart, is this just a calling off? So if you see here our move to the downside, we had a big move to the downside breaking down from the top descending triangle. We then called off for a little bit, right? We had a little bit of a calling off here, then we had another move to the downside. Bit of a calling off, move to the downside. This is a big move to the downside. So now we're going to get a calling off. If you look at the RSIs, look where the RSI peaked here before our previous calling off. Look at that. Okay, and then big move to the downside. And then now, are we getting the same thing before calling off? We could even have a little bit more of another rally before then calling off, coming back down to the downside, right? Because RSI is not fully reset just yet. So we need to watch out for this, particularly on Bitcoin. If we do fall to the downside, as we know, we've still got levels coming in to bring in some support. If I move across to the daily chart, you can see some of our support levels a bit clearer. Just bring that zoomed in. Across. So as you can see, our next support levels are going to be around these pivot points. We've got to look at each of these pivot points. The first one being at around 38,400, then down to 37. If we lose those levels, then we can discuss what are the levels thereafter. Now, the bullish case would need us getting back into this wedge as quickly as possible. We need to hold the level we're at now, which is 40,000, and try to either move sideways or quickly get ourselves back in the wedge above about 41,659 at this horizontal level here. Now, if we take a quick look at the fear and greed index, we can see we've fallen all the way down to 20 today, and that makes complete sense. This reading would have been taken before the CPI reading as the markets were tanking yesterday. So 60 fear and greed makes complete sense, particularly given we lost the 40,000 level for a little bit. The market's going to be fearful, but that's exactly when we need to get to work. Remember, when the market was starting to get to neutral / a little bit frothy or a little bit greedy, I was saying to everybody here, not financial advice, that we're not doing anything. There's no work for us to do. We just need to sit back and let our winners ride. If we see any major pullbacks, at those points, we'll start to deploy. And now we're starting to see that, right? We're looking at FANTOM sitting here at 116. The low of this candle yesterday took us as low as 110. Now remember, the lows from here, when we were doing our last bit of buying, which I shared with you guys, was at 103, 104 level. So we're getting to some of those nice levels again, and we're ready to nibble. And I've been saying that for the last few videos, that these are good moments to start nibbling. But I still wouldn't go too heavy, because as I shared with you in the Bitcoin chart, there is still room for us to move to the downside, and you want to be prepared with that. With cash on the side. Now also, just zoom out, guys. This is a pattern which I shared with you guys and in the course member lives. If you haven't checked those out, links in description. When we were creating this move about here, when we were just in a couple of candles into this pattern, I already warned of this target here of 90 cents. And if you've been watching my videos, we had this drawn. I've not changed it. I've not touched it. I knew that this was a calling off from, just like how we had here, it was a bearish continuation pattern. You've seen that play out exactly the way now. I mean, we're almost 70% of our target here. I mean, 70% of getting to our technical target here. If you were trading that here on this short time frame, you would have done really well here, just on this move to the downside. Even if you weren't trading it, this would have allowed you to prepare your psychology, get some cash on the side, ready for this dip, because I prepared you for this dip. When the price was close to 168, I was informing you guys when it made no sense whatsoever that the price may fall down to 90 cents, 96 cents, right? So this is why it's really important that you follow these videos, guys. If you've not checked out my course member live streams, do check those out, as these are the kind of things we're looking at daily in the charts. Now, if I head over to the hourly, what I want to share with you now is a similar thing, right? If I look at this hourly chart, you can argue that, okay, we've got a bit of a rally to 116, but we just have to be careful. Just like with the Bitcoin chart, are we having move, call off, move, call off before move to the downside? Okay, we just need to be careful and follow these patterns. It's very basic. If you keep buying these bags here on the call offs, that's a complete amateur. We don't do that. You want to be buying the dips, not the tops, right? We don't want to be buying these tops here. And again, just if you're confused, look at the RSI. Look here when you peak. Look at the RSI. And then here again, look where the RSI is trending towards, right? That you're catching it at the tops of the RSIs. Naturally, it's going to want to call off before heading again to the upside to call off again. That's what it does. It kind of comes down, calls off, big move to the downside, call off, big move to the downside. That's a downward trend. That's very normal. It's the opposite when you see an upward trend. Now, switching across to the 4-hourly, let's just bring out our EMA ribbon. And you can see from the EMA ribbon, we're just super getting rejected by EMA ribbon. Here, we didn't even touch. I mean, at this point, we didn't even touch. At this point, we touched briefly and got rejected. And on this move, it doesn't even look like we're going to touch our EMA ribbon again before heading to the downside. So not looking too good on the 4-hourly view. Bringing us across to the daily view as well, super extended to the downside. We're super bearish here on our daily pattern. And you can see we just continually get rejected from our daily ribbon. If I bring out my pen, you can see from this point, we got rejected, the upside, rejected, big rejection here. It looks like another big rejection here downside. We're in a super big downward trend, and we know that is not to do with FANTOM specifically. That's all projects, but it's important for us to be able to watch those charts, monitor those charts, so we can get the best entries. That's what we want to do here. Just to keep things very simple, if you believe crypto is not going to win long term, then obviously don't be invested. If you believe in crypto long term and you believe in your few favorite projects, then this is just a small blip, a small downturn, which we've seen plenty of times in the crypto cycle. Now, we know Bitcoin is following the S&P and the equity markets. We know the equity markets are following the macroeconomic trends to do with Russia-Ukraine crisis, with to do with inflation, with the China COVID lockdowns and the effect that's having on supply chains. So obviously we have to follow the chain to look at what's affecting the price points. But very simply, if we see pullbacks in our high conviction plays, we want to double down and build our cost basis. Sometimes it's really important to just focus on the number of coins you're managing to stack up. That's the best metric. If you're not stacking more coins, then something is going wrong. You should be building more and more coins, earning more money, investing, buying on dips, buying on pullbacks, and that is how you should be winning. If you're still taking speculative, risky bets, then that's not the way to build sustainable wealth in crypto. As always, guys, if you appreciate this blend between technicals and fundamentals, smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. If you appreciate my perspectives and you want to learn some more, check out those course member live stream links, ijaz.uk/member. Now, the final thing I promised to discuss with you guys, you thought I was going to forget. The final thing I promised to discuss with you guys was whether FANTOM should rebrand. Now, should FANTOM rebrand? Great question. Well, let's check out this tweet by Miles Deutscher. A lot of you guys will know him as somebody from Crypto Banter. And he says, thoughts, FANTOM needs a rebrand. The spooky ghost theme is fun and definitely serves its purpose in terms of attracting you. It's time to start building dApps that appeal to institutions. This is a simple UI tweak that can be easily implemented by most projects. And then pretty much he's getting wrecked on here, guys. I mean, and I completely agree with that sentiment. I think he's creating a problem out of one that doesn't exist. There are various things that FANTOM need to fix right now, but I don't think a UI tweak is of the priority right now. If you speak to the FANTOM team, you will know that the focus should be around building incentives and structures around not just attracting DeFi apps, attracting gaming, attracting metaverse plays, attracting NFTs and all these other great verticals. That should be FANTOM's sole focus. And if they can nail that, they're going to be a solid layer one solution for a very long time. Right now, that's their only Achilles heel, is that they're very heavily focused on DeFi. That's where the majority of their total value locked comes from, and that has been their focus. But the team has identified that. They're working on that. We know Michael Kong has identified it. We've spoken about that in various interviews he's done in the past, and that's something they're going to address. Now, in terms of their rebrand, this is something we'll cover off. We're going to have the other pomp. We're going to have the CMO of FANTOM on the channel early next week. So we'll definitely put this question to him, whether he thinks it needs a rebrand. I personally don't think it needs a rebrand whatsoever. I think Miles here, with all credit to him, is creating an issue out of a non-issue, and that's not the focus right now. The focus needs to be on attracting dApp developers, like he says in the second paragraph, but I don't think it's to do with the UI that is affecting that. We just need more NFT plays. We need to build an incentive structure, just like we did for DeFi, around those projects. That's what FANTOM needs to do at this point. So there you have it, guys, a breakdown of whether FANTOM needs a rebrand. As always, guys, smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. What I'm going to do at the end of this video is I'm going to link up the video to the FANTOM tokenomics video. Make sure you watch that, because not only do I go through all the new updates to the FANTOM tokenomics, we go through it in detail and show how strong the tokenomics are, but also there's one Achilles heel that I needed to bring up with you, and I do that very openly and transparently with you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in